I mean, the issues
survived.
that the Krishnamurthis had to face are still very prevalent. I mean, the judicial system is 4.5 crore cases stuck.
I want to break this reputation of mine that I can be quite a hard nut to deal with.
You discuss a lot with an actor, and when you go on set, it's not there. A lot of times you don't discuss, and still it's not there. What's more important is...
She has a lot of these zingers. Hi, you guys. Thank you for giving me your time today.
You're most welcome. They forced us, but we're here.
I don't know which camera is mine, but I'm giving like a deadpan stare.
They held a gun to my mum's head. Like,
Really, Abhay?
Yeah.
Really?
कर दे नहीं तो.
कितने हो गए आज सवेरे से interviews?
कितने हुए? I don't know, man. That's why I'm having some fun right now.
That's all right. I know. I mean, honestly, I was watching this show and I was like, I have to go and talk to you guys about this. But how are we going to have like fun with this interview? Because it's...
Do you ever say that, let me be in the first part of the day as opposed to the last part? Because, the actors are usually tired by the end.
I usually like to be the first person because everyone's like, let's talk about the show today, you guys.
And by the seventh way, they're like, you again.
So, like, we made a show and it's good and it's on Netflix. Watch it. No, great. I love the first 2.5 episodes that I've seen so far. I think it's very bingeable. But having said that, Prashant, this is not an easy topic you're tackling, like the Uphaar tragedy, which millennials remember. We were very young, but majority of the people who are watching Netflix in the data group that Netflix is mostly, I assume, serving to, remember this as a real thing that happened in our lifetimes. Sure. How do you make a show on something like that and still make sure, at least hope, that people are going to watch one episode after another after another?
I mean, I think that's a good question in general. How do you make a show that's,
Thank you, I'm full of it. Yes,
people,
lots of good questions.
But, I don't know. I think, at the core of it, while the circumstances are obviously very, very tragic, I think the Krishnamurthis are, in fact, inspirations. To come back from something like this, facing such a devastating loss, to get up and stand up and fight, and to do so for so long, and to show up every day is ultimately, for me personally, a source of inspiration. It raises questions about, would I be able to do that? Should I be doing that? What it takes to really affect change. So I think that's, for me, really at the heart of it. The circumstances are obviously devastating, but that's really at the heart of it. And, we just hope that the people, that resonates with people and that they follow them through the journey.
One thing I always struggle with when I'm watching a movie or a show that's inspired by real events that were tragic. For instance, Netflix recently did it very well with Jogi, with Ali Abbas Zafar's film. It was about the 1984 genocide that happened. They did it very, very nicely. Where do you pick that thread that it's not going to sound or feel exploitative or salacious, and this is a very real thing that happened, but I'm going to turn it into a Netflix show? Is it like time-lapsed? What is it?
I mean, that's, again, a huge responsibility that you feel from the beginning.
Yeah.
I think it's first about being clear about what story you are telling. So, the series deals with, the failure of the judicial system. It deals with public safety. But there's a lot of great work in the documentary space about that. I think what we were primarily interested in is, what does it take out of you when you have to go to the judicial system? What does it take out of you when you have to fight for so long for justice that should have been pretty obvious from the beginning? We were interested in sort of the human aspect to it.
Yeah.
So I think, the important thing is just really to look at, there's also a lot of material, 25 years, multiple cases. So how do you make that digestible for an audience? And everything is in service of that core story, which is the human cost of effecting change. It's a thing we grappled with all the time, does this, because it is a fictional series, I think it's all about intent. That's a question you have to ask yourself through the process. Is this really in service of the story we're telling? Is it there just to provoke, reaction, and to cut out everything that isn't sincere and genuine and has real intent? Because it's a huge responsibility.
Yeah, but you just mentioned that it's a fictional series. That's how you're...
So it's inspired by, it's a fictional series inspired by Neelam and Shekhar's book.
Yeah.
And that's the major.
I think fiction is a bit deceptive,
Yeah,
because it is
it's
very much...
inspired.
Yeah.
It's inspired.
You're not categorizing it as a fiction.
No, it's inspired by true events. It's inspired by their book, and we had researchers as well, and so on. But there are elements that we have fictionalized. So
those elements are so much smaller than the essence,
Exactly.
which is all true.
Yeah.
So in the last interview, we were saying fiction thing in my head. It's not fiction at all.
Yeah.
I mean, there is elements,
Yeah.
as a director have said, you have to put, but
Yeah.
that doesn't make this a fiction.
Yeah, I mean, I think we stayed true to as much as possible, and
Yeah.
like the events that happened are correct, and the people that are involved, and all those stuffs we were very rigorous about. So it's based on true events. After that, obviously there are details in the personal lives and certain things that we have fictionalized just because it is in the drama series space versus
Sure.
the documentary.
Yeah. Raj, I love you. You're so amazing. It's not a secret, you guys. I'm unequivocally in love with Rajshri Deshpande.
It's okay. So are we.
Who isn't? What's
Yes.
not to love?
Yeah.
Now, you have been associated with Netflix since like the first series, right? Since Sacred Games. And this is now their newest series. What have you seen changing in the streaming space since then? Since when Netflix first started in India and where it is right now?
Yeah, the first show actually, Netflix was Sacred Games.
You were a part of
Season
that.
1 I was part of.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I was part of Fame Game. The superstar Madhuri was
Major
part
show.
of it. Yeah, it was another major show, and I'm glad that I got to portray a very interesting and important character in that. And now this, so they're trusting me
Yes.
somewhere.
Good
They're
relationship you
trusting
have
me.
with Netflix, folks?
Absolutely not. We never had a relationship. It's basically it's not about that relationship as such. I'm saying that in this way that I never had an interaction with the team.
Sure.
With the Netflix team. This is the first time I'm having an interaction with them. And I'm glad that there are you have some people who knows you.
Yeah.
Who follows you, who understands you,
Yeah.
But it's not like you don't meet them, but they're there for you. They will trust me that, okay, maybe, as Prashant and the team, everyone kind of trusting me. Netflix is trusting me. That means they trust my craft. So the relationship is more of the trust of the craft, of the work, and the sincerity of my work, maybe somewhere there. That's what I'm still.
अच्छे लोग हैं मतलब अच्छे से
Yeah,
इंतजाम किया है पूरा.
absolutely. I think and see, I'm always proud of the kind of work
Like
they're
you should be.
doing. Yeah, and the show they are getting, and the kind of all international. If you look at it, Netflix as a whole, they have amazing things. I
Yeah.
think the best shows are from Netflix, and I'm very proud to be part of it. And I'm glad that they are giving me work.
Yes, I know.
Even if
Well,
we
one
don't
more
have-
show on that note.
Even if we don't have a
Manager.
yeah. So that relationship with the work is very strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really want to meet all of them now.
चलिए अभी after you're done with today's interviews, I'm going to go outside and be like, Rajshri से मिलवा दो लोगों को यार. She's not met anybody. Abhay, how have you brought this character to life? Because at least in the first 2.5 episodes that I've watched, there's a lot of apathy that the show is talking about. Systemic apathy, classist apathy. But then you also don't want to make a show that's defeatist, that's taking away hope from people instead of providing hope to people. So talk to me about creating your character and dealing with these so many deep emotions.
I mean, did you feel that there was apathy while
In
you
the
were watching
first 2 episodes, right? Because when the
apathy of the
Krishnamurthy
systems.
That's right. When the Krishnamurthy is like, she's going to the wedding and you're going to the offices and they're pushing down to the floor.
Yeah, yeah,
So you're dealing with apathy, and then private citizens have to stand up for themselves when the
Yeah.
systems are not standing up for them.
So how do you not make it defeatist is what you're saying?
Exactly.
So this is a story actually of hope, because you're obviously 2.5 episodes into it, and that's just the build-up of what they're up against.
Sure.
And that's just the standard structure for any good story. You have to have the setup first. What are they up against? And then the bigger the enemy, right, the harder the task, the more strength you need.
Yeah.
Where does that strength come from? How does it come? And that's the story of heroes.
David versus Goliath.
Yeah. So I think that's what takes care of the defeatism. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, it's a director's medium. From an actor's perspective, I can only play with what I have got. And clearly this one isn't defeatist or fatalistic at all. I mean, because these two individuals are alive today. That organization and all those families who are fighting the system are alive today.
Sure.
They're still keeping that fight. So you could actually feel a little negative because they're still running in the court of law as we speak now. But the hope is in that they've got some results. They have created a movement. There has been policy change. Now there's a show on what they've done, and that's how you rise above the defeatist, fatalistic way of thinking, is you shift the focus on where's the lining, the silver lining, because there could be a lot of dark cloud,
For sure.
and the silver lining might be really small.
Yeah.
But that's your key to giving hope to the audience that's watching it.
I can't wait to finish the whole series, and I really want to know how you turn it, how it turns a corner. Because right now it's very like, I'm really hoping every new character, like, please be a good person, please be a good person. Ashish Vidyarthi walks in, I'm like, please don't be a bad guy. But then whatever, I'm not
But
giving
Ashish
away
plays
anything.
bad guys so well.
He's just like, he's made like a definitive career out of it, right? But then you're hoping against hope,
Yeah,
like,
but-
just please be someone, be a good
Just
person.
watch it, watch it.
I know, I can't wait to watch the rest of it.
Everyone
How did you see only
has-
half an episode though? You had to run for an interview.
Yes, sir. So I was on my way, and then
You watch
decided
it.
to, like,
Yeah, I was a little over the half.
I'm really sorry I had to stop it in middle because, I had to be here. Sorry about that. Bombay traffic, how it is. Rajshri, did you get a chance to actually meet Neelam Krishnamurthy in person?
No, actually, we couldn't meet her, but we definitely had like lots of discussion. I've read the book also, and of course, I followed all the the online proceedings and everything, and the script. Script had so many things, and Prashant had so many insights to discuss and talk about it. So that gave me a lot of insight about Neelam. But yeah, 25 years of life I had to portray, which was not easy at all. I had to find and work on it, part of where Neelam is inside me, and then portray her. So it was, it was not easy. Honestly, we were shooting in pandemic. My mother was in the hospital. I was dealing with a school issue. I was building a school on ground for sugar cutting laborers. So I was dealing with so many things, and I was carrying Neelam inside me.
Right.
And but yeah, because everyone was with me, everyone was holding hand and say that okay, what we are creating is very important, and. So yeah, emotionally, everyone was there together. We were all zero together.
Yeah.
And we all created each and every character together. So I feel that, when you have a sensitive and sensible team on board, it is possible. When you're professionally working on something which is serious, which is, because we are showing something. So that truth is there. It is possible to make, a good show. And I'm glad I'm part of this, where a good people came together and doing something which is very, very important.
Prashant, so Raj just mentioned that you were shooting this in the pandemic. When was this? When was the show on ground?
So this would have been,
the
what, we
floors.
are 23
March
now?
21.
21.
That was a bad time
Yeah, we
too.
got
It
shut
was
down.
just about to get really, really bad.
Yeah.
Watching the first initial episodes, the show also feels strangely prescient because there's a lot of morbidity and talks of people not being able to send their loved ones into the afterlife easily, and having issues with things like that. So did the experience of the COVID pandemic seep into creating the stories that we're watching in each episode?
Well, I mean, it definitely had a huge impact because a lot of things suddenly became unavailable to us. In terms of the interaction we could have amongst each other outside, the safety protocols were, and we didn't know, and no one knew at the time, so
That it was about
we got
to
shut down
get
3
really
times.
bad.
We got shut down 3
Wow,
times.
wow.
I think even for Rajshri and Abhay maintaining the look indefinitely, forever, and not knowing when the next time we would shoot.
Really, I didn't handle that part, but
Really, 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 what changed? What changed?
just kidding.
I can't wait to watch and point it out.
Yeah, I think it just became tough. It became tough to keep everyone focused. Initially the period, also recreating the period because it's from 97 to 2015.
Right.
All these things became, a challenge for everybody during that time. But
Yeah.
it was not a simple show to shoot during that.
But outside of the logistics as well, like just the vibe
The
and
mood,
the
yeah.
atmosphere and the mood of the writing feels like it happened
Yeah.
25, 30 years ago, but it feels like this could have
Today.
happened last year
Yeah.
as a part of everything that did go on in the country.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even aside from that, I mean,
Like it hits you harder because of what we've just...
yeah, I mean the
survived.
issues that the Krishnamurthis had to face are still very prevalent. I mean the judicial system is 4.5 crore cases stuck. There's
Wow.
So it's it could happen today.
Wow.
There is this line we say that, कि जो हमारे साथ हुआ, वो किसी और के साथ ना हो. And exactly we were going through the same thing even while shooting also, even till today also we think that it's such an important thing that what has happened before, the history should not repeat,
And you're shooting these scenes and you're seeing these news stories come out simultaneously of these things. Oh my goodness. Not fun at all. You've said that this was your hardest role till date. How?
Just the nature of the subject, it being as tragic as it was and it being a true story. So, and it's funny because I didn't have to work really hard on my emotions because they were pretty easy to reach out to because it was horrific.
Yeah.
What I was portraying and what this person has gone through. So in that sense, it was easy, but for lack of a better word, it wasn't hard to jump into the tragedy because the tragedy is just so tragic.
Yeah.
If it was a fiction, it would still have been okay, fine, but to know that someone went through this.
But did you feel yourself crossing maybe a line where you felt like I need to keep this respectful? How do I rein my performance in so that it doesn't look like I'm caricaturing someone who's still very much fighting for the cause that we're depicting in our show?
Luckily, I didn't have to think too much about that because I've never caricaturized any of my characters. The whole idea of...
I will like you so much.
the effort's always been in sort of being, in sort of portraying
And
from
being a
real
good
life.
actor in general.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just didn't think the good, bad, or right, wrong. It's just intention.
Yeah.
My intention has always been someone that you can relate to, someone that you can say, okay, yeah, I believe this. It's all about believability, and that's always been the thing. I hear you when you say about the responsibility or like exploiting something that is like this of this nature.
It's such a
and being
thin
true.
line, isn't it?
Of course, I hear you on that. I mean, that's a lot of that is, of course, the director.
Yeah.
But as an actor too, you're kind of skating the same space. But I've always treated my characters with respect, even if they were negative people. I've had to find empathy for them. The idea of Devdas came to me purely because I wanted to call out his chauvinism and empower the women in the tale. But I still had to gather his empathy, which was kind of weird.
Yeah. I mean, I remember Devdi was such a phenomenon weeks after the film had released, and I was in college and everyone was like, how have you still not watched Devdi? Let's go watch Devdi. And we were watching it in like packed auditoriums. I remember it like
So that's
it was yesterday.
So bringing it to this, it's the same thing. It's like it was easier to gain empathy for my character. Obviously, he's the everyday man gone through a tragedy, lost his children, David versus Goliath story, and all of that. So it's so easy to generate empathy for him. But I'm not going to put him up on a pedestal either because I don't think he chose to be a hero. No one wants to lose their kids.
Yeah.
And no one wants that kind of fame or that kind of attention. They would rather be unknowns with their children now old enough to be married and have kids and be grandparents. You know, that's what they would all have dreamed of. So you keep that in mind. To be honest, I didn't even think that far.
Yeah.
Because for me, my default setting is to give respect to any character I play.
Yeah. And trust in the makers that they're going to guide you down the right path.
And I knew that Prashant wasn't. You can get an idea from the person you're working with.
Yes, yes.
What their makeup is.
If it's exploitative or if it is actually a story told in the right fashion.
Yes. So I understood his intentions. I understood where he was coming from. So I didn't even have to really think.
Yeah.
Yes, sure, if I had sniffed any sort of, okay, I'm going to sensationalize
Put your foot down?
this.
You would have put your foot down?
I would have been uncomfortable for sure. I would have...
Put your foot down.
Probably put your foot down.
I don't want to say it.
Stop the shoot, set dismantled.
I want to break this reputation of mine that I can be quite a hard nut to deal with.
All right, no. That's not what I mean. I'm saying if you had sensed that it was going down the wrong road.
That direction, I would have said something.
Had a conversation about it. Let's talk.
Taking him out for dinner.
Take him out to dinner.
You know, bring a few friends of mine.
But that you never even came on that point where you felt like you wanted to have that conversation.
Look,
That's so great. 10 marks.
You can tell from the script itself, first of all. So I got the script and I already knew, okay, half my work is done on a good script.
Half your work is done on a good actor.
More than half, I would say.
Multiple.
Yeah, more than half.
Really, really beautiful scene between the two of you. The birthday scene when the cake arrives, and
Yeah, that's what I said. I added that line.
Oh, you added that line? I thought it was in
It
it.
was not there.
this is the first time you're working together, the two of you,
Yeah.
right? So talk to me about creating that chemistry, which makes you believable as the Krishnamurthis who've gone through this trauma as a couple. Raj, please बताएं कैसा था अभय देओल के साथ काम करना कैसा रहा? I mean, I've just said
कैसा
asked a
रहा,
very
तुम ही
basic
बता दो.
question with like fancy words.
Yeah. नहीं, पहले इनसे पूछो, senior
Yeah,
first.
you're female first, ladies first.
But did y'all like spend
As a
time
senior
together?
First.
I'm not senior. What do you think I'm
You
senior?
just said someone just mentioned.
She doesn't know anything.
No, I'm not.
मैंने नहीं बोला पहले कोई क्या बोल के गया hello this is a clean slate but
No, but yeah.
did you spend time together before going on sets getting to know each other as actors?
No.
So wait,
And I was a bit worried about that for you more than myself. We met a little bit.
yeah.
You were
Was it
worried
enough
for
for you?
her.
No,
Was it
but
not for you?
for me, I feel see, important is, see, a lot of time what happens, you discuss a lot with an actor, and when you go on set, it's not there. A lot of times you don't discuss, and still it's not there. What's more important is
She has a lot of these zingers. Like
I know.
she's very sweet and like soft-spoken lady, but she has a lot of like these like
no, but
zany
yeah,
lines.
for me, no, but for me, see, I come with like a sincerity. I feel it's very important for me. What I've got, I should do best with it because it's not that easy to get roles. It's not easy to get good work.
Yeah, despite
work.
all that we've just said about all the
work.
Netflix stuff, it's still hard.
It's very hard to get, something which is so well written. We have a great team on board, so it's very difficult. So first of all, for me, it's an opportunity, especially as a female actor. I'm saying that it's an opportunity which is very rare. So for me, of course, that was the first thing. And when I got to know, of course, Abhay is there. Initially we had a discussion, but when we started working on the character, it's you who have to so it started with me first. I believed that he's Shekhar for me. And it's always, kind of, whenever we used to work on a scene or things, we all used to discuss, we all used to talk about it. And you get to know that, how his tone is, what kind of emotion he must be going through. Both is beautiful, meeting someone and working on a character, working on understanding about the person is also nice, but even not knowing is also very nice because you want to understand more about it. So I started learning that, okay, this is how he reacts with things. So you learn that, okay.
Before though, enough?
No.
No, you were okay?
Yeah, I was all okay.
You felt okay, yeah, that's why I was...
Yeah.
I think
because for me, it was Shekhar. It was not Abhay for me. It was Shekhar for me. And if I know Shekhar, if I have understood Shekhar through whatever journey I have seen, so I will see him in that way. So for me, and great part about Abhay is after a few days, we were just so synced with each other that he understood, okay, this is where the space is there, okay, this is where, let's talk about it. So it was because of our captain of ship was always there to hold us, all of us together. Prashant, gave us space and at the same time respect and love on set.
Yeah.
So which is very important, I
love.
feel.
You didn't get any love. Why?
He's lying.
Why is Abhay complaining he's not getting any love?
No, I think the thing with actors is also that everyone has their own process and needs different things and
Abhay needs love.
comes to it
just so we
differently.
know
That
for the
that he does.
next also like
Running on trees has been...
Yeah, like all these like team building exercises.
I'm telling you, the line from this
So,
interview is Raj just saying, sometimes you sit with actors and have long discussions, you go on set, nothing is there. Sometimes you don't sit with actors, you go on set, still nothing is there.
Uh-oh.
But did you give her enough on set, Abhay? Like she
I
is...
don't know what point are we trying to make? You have these 3 weeks of running on trees.
No, what I think is
It
that
comes to naught.
I think you both also approach it very differently from different angles, and
This is a question for him because he's worked with both of us. He can tell you better.
all actors do. Everyone has this magic mystery of how they get to a certain part,
Yeah.
especially with very difficult scenes like this, but like really hard scenes. They needed to be there in the moment. They needed to be as real as possible.
Sure.
and sometimes all that stuff around it can take away. I mean, for example, Rajshri brings a lot of emotion beforehand into the scene, and it's very raw, and it's very like it's just there. She can get very, deep. But she starts before, and then the thing is to find it, like at it's there, and she'll give you. Give you a lot. Abhay's process is completely different. Abhay, switches it on at the time of take, and then I can't speak to what happens before or after, but because the scenes, like the first scenes, were so intense, I think it worked well that they were able to kind of, it's off.
True, we were like the opposite.
You have different
approaches.
Completely different approaches to
very different approaches.
the same scene that you're sharing.
For me, I became like that because all these interviews I've noticed I've always talked about taking your work home.
Yeah.
And I couldn't.
Yeah.
I think this is a result of that, is I have to shut off.
Yeah.
But I have to bring
You're obviously doing something before and after. I don't know what it is, but it shows up.
As long as you're delivering on the day of,
And I
no
think
complaints.
for the rest of us, when you have actors like this, it's just about creating a comfortable environment for
I was
them.
very surprised with my work, so I don't know if that would be offended or I take it as a compliment.
अरे तू कुछ तैयारी करके नहीं आया है?
No, but
Okay, roll sound.
He went with a lot of faith with me, I have to. And that gave me hope.
Isn't that special?
He did. He did. I don't
That's
give
so
many compliments. I'm not good at them.
But he's still saying he's not received enough love.
Oh, he's
So
received
y'all
love.
need to talk.
Everyone's
received more
received
love.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now it comes
maybe
to
very, yeah.
Y'all need to talk. Now, I'm being told by Netflix that I have to wrap this up, so I'm going to do that. But thank you for working so hard to make this show. It's a real treat for viewers when you see good performers, good writers and directors really giving it the effort that they expect of us when we are watching and investing our time and our emotions into watching what you've created. So thank you for thinking of us.
Thank you, love.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Shahid.
so
And as you said, it's like the bingeable. I really want people to just watch all of it.
I think it's the story
Yeah.
is so continuously kind of flowing from one episode to the other. I don't think there is any reason
Yeah.
for people to pause in between episodes. You sit down and take a day off and watch the show because it's a story that you need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank
For
you
your
so
time,
much.
gentlemen and lady.
Thank you.
Kisses only for Raj. Thanks, guys.
okay, all
You
right.
and I are not doing something right.
Yeah.
Raj is doing many things right, you guys.
You and I are not doing something right. Exactly.